Before we get started, subscribe to my channel. The Biden administration is getting a taste of their own medicine. The governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, decided, to put the migrants on buses and send them to Washington, D.C. And this have stirred up a lot of problems there in Washington, D.C. Now they're trying to call in the National Guard to help out with this influx of migrants. So tell me what you think about this.
The latest announcement from Governor Greg Abbott. He says the state will send migrants from the Texas border to the steps of the U.S. Capitol.
Yeah, he says that's in response to the end of Title 42, a pandemic rule that allowed the expulsion of migrants and asylum seekers in an effort to prevent the spread of COVID.
So what is Title 42?
So when we say Title 42, what we're actually referring to is an order issued by the director of the Centers for Disease Control.
And that CDC order empowered border enforcement agencies to remove migrants crossing to the United States, including those hoping to apply for asylum, which is their right under U.S. law and international treaty. Title 42 also blocked entry of asylum seekers who presented themselves at ports of entry under the policy.
It's aimed specifically at the entry of immigrants at the U.S.-Mexico border who do not have documents.
Once Title 42 was implemented at the U.S.-Mexico border, immigrants encountered by Border Patrol officers were sent back to Mexico within hours or back to their country of origin within days, without any legal consequence to those who try to cross between ports of entry.
We are sending them to the United States Capitol, where the Biden administration will be able to more immediately address the needs of the people that they are allowing to come across our border.
Welcome back, everyone, here to Live Now from Foxville. New video coming in right now from D.C., where a bus from Texas has arrived this morning transporting dozens of illegal immigrants as part of Texas Governor Greg Abbott's new plan to counter federal immigration policies during an ongoing border crisis. Abbott announced just last week that he was directing the Texas Division of Emergency Management to transport migrants released from federal custody in Texas to the nation's capital and other locations outside his state. The bus pulled up at approximately 8 a.m., just blocks away from the U.S. Capitol. Fox News has learned that they come from the Del Rio sector in Texas after coming in to the U.S. from Colombia, Cuba, and Venezuela. Upon the bus's arrival in D.C., individuals disembarked one by one, except for family units who exited together. They checked in with officials and had wristbands they were wearing cut off before they were told that they could go. According to Abbott's plan, he says it's already working. The agency told Fox News on Monday that they have many of the communities that originally reached out for support from the Rio Grande Valley to Terrell County say the federal government stopped dropping immigrants in their town since Abbott's announcement just on April 6th. Some have questioned whether Abbott's plan to bus migrants was genuine. The White House dismissed it as a publicity stunt. Even Texas State Representative Matt Schaefer, a Republican, called it a gimmick. And then, well, now we have the video to prove it here that Abbott was not calling it a gimmick at all. Still, the governor's legal authority to transport busloads of migrants to the U.S. Capitol remains in question. The 2012 Supreme Court case, Arizona versus the United States, prevents states from making their own immigration policies there. Abbott insists that the federal government is failing to adequately address the situation. President Biden recently announced that he would be rescinding Title 42, which was used to expel migrants swiftly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll see what the White House has to say about all of this a little bit later today at their briefing. In a tweet today from Greg Abbott, he said, first Texas bus drops off illegal immigrants blocks from U.S. Capitol in Washington, D.C. Biden refuses to come see the mess he's made at the border, so Texas is bringing the border to him there. That is from Greg Abbott.
So now the mayor of Washington, D.C. is requesting help from the National Guards. Why didn't they help Texas and Arizona when all of this was going on? Now they're getting a taste of their own medicine. So we'll continue.
Steve, Governor Abbott has said the strategy in busing migrants to D.C. was to bring the border crisis to the president's doorstep. The mayor of D.C. says they now have a humanitarian crisis and need the feds' help, while also calling the act of busing migrants cruel political gamesmanship. As migrants continue to arrive in Washington, D.C., District of Columbia officials say they are running out of resources to take care of all the people.
Well, we need space, and we need the federal government to be involved.
D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser faced questions Thursday about a letter she sent to the White House and Pentagon requesting the activation of the D.C. National Guard. District officials say they've encountered more than 4,000 people arriving on over 200 buses since Texas Governor Greg Abbott and Arizona Governor Doug Ducey announced in April plans to ship migrants to the country's center of political power. Bowser writes in her letter, the migrant crisis facing our city and our country through cruel political gamesmanship for the governors of Texas and Arizona must be dealt with at a federal level.
The number of people crossing the border seeking asylum, we expect to only go up. And we need to make sure that there is a national response, not an ad hoc city-by-city, state-by-state response.
Shelters in D.C. have reached max capacity, with some migrants left sleeping outside Union Station. Aid groups have for weeks said they are overwhelmed.
How could I have let them sleep on the floor in Union Station? So I decided to host yet another family, and at that point there were 10 people in my house.
President Biden has not given this issue any attention, but then neither have our local officials.
White House officials did not commit to National Guard support, referring reporters to the Department of Defense.
We have been in regular touch with Mayor Bowser and her team. And I said this before, I said this last week about Republicans using migrants as a political tool, and that is shameful and that is just wrong.
Governor Abbott declined a request for an interview, but said in a statement Thursday, Washington, D.C. finally understands what Texans have been dealing with every single day as our communities are overrun and overwhelmed by thousands of illegal immigrants thanks to President Biden's open border policies. If the mayor wants a solution to this crisis, she should call on President Biden to take immediate action to secure the border, something he has failed to do.
Well, there go the migrants there. They're there in Washington, D.C. So, Biden, what are you going to do?
Folks, guess you heard this morning I tested positive for COVID. But I've been double vaccinated, double boosted. Symptoms are mild, and I really appreciate your inquiry and your concerns. But I'm doing well. I'm getting a lot of work done. I'm going to continue to get it done. And in the meantime, thanks for your concern, and keep the faith. It's going to be okay.
All right, thanks for watching, and subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.